Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 1. The bulky mass required to aid bowel evacuation is A. Vitamins, B. Roughages, C. Minerals, D. Lipids, and E. Fruits. So we have to pick an option which is described as the bulky mass required to aid bowel evacuation, that is, required to remove waste products from the gut. That's waste products from the gut. That's what this bowel evacuation means. Now, option A here says vitamins. And vitamin is a class of food that is actually important for the chemical activities or metabolic activities that goes on in the body, or the chemical reactions in the body. Example includes the vitamin A, vitamin B, C, D, E. All these vitamins have the specific functions in the body, and they help in different areas of the body. Now, option B here says roughages. Now, roughages are fibrous indigestible materials. Fibrous indigestible materials that are found in foodstuff and also mostly in vegetables. Now, these bowels aids the passage of food. That is, these roughages aid with digestion and also passage of waste products from the gut. So roughages are fibrous indigestible materials that aid towards digestion of food, and also they aid bowel evacuation, that is, removal of waste products from the gut. And example of materials where you find these roughages include the fruits, the nuts, the vegetables, and also the grains. Now, option C here says minerals. Minerals is also a class of food like the calcium, your chloride ion, your sodium ion. All these are minerals. Now, these minerals are important for organ functions. Like the function of the liver, the function of the kidneys, and the rest. Now, option D here says lipids. Now, lipid is also a class of food consisting of the fats and oil. Now, the fats here is solid lipid, while the oil here is the liquid lipids. Now, these lipids are important because they help to insulate the body. They help to insulate the body against heat, and also provides energy. They provide energy. Then option E here says what? Fruits. Now, fruits consist of vitamins, roughages, and so now the correct answer to this question is actually option B, like I have described. Roughages. I said roughages are indigestible materials, fibrous indigestible materials. They aid They aid the digestion of food and also aid bowel evacuation, that is, removal of waste products from the guts. And so option B, roughages, is the answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 2. Scholarly contributions in Nigerian medical psychiatry was traceable to A. Dr. Thomas Lambo, B. Dr. Latunde Odeku, C. Dr. Beku Ransom Kuti, D. Dr. Dewali Omolade, E. Dr. Abel Abalaka. Now, Dr. Thomas Lambo was a Nigerian scholar. That is, he's late now, so he was a Nigerian scholar, administrator and psychiatrist. Now, he was credited as the first written named psychiatrist in Nigeria and Africa. That is, he is noted or credited to be the first psychiatrist, the first Western trained psychiatrist in the whole of Africa and in Nigeria that contributed immensely in the Nigerian medical psychiatry. He worked at the WHO in the period of 1971 to 1988. So he is known to to contribute immensely in the Nigerian medical psychiatry, because he is the first known Western psychiatrist in Nigeria and Africa. Now, option B here says Latunde Odeku, Dr. Latunde Odeku. Now, Dr. Latunde Odeku is the first known neurosurgeon in Nigeria and the Africa that is to be trained in America. The first known Western neurosurgeon in Africa and Nigeria. Now, Dr. Beku Ransom Kuti also is also a medical doctor, but he is known in his what human rights activist. Now, these other doctors are not what they are not pronounced or not renounced doctors. So these are the major words renounced doctors. Now, the question says scholarly contributions in Nigeria medical psychiatry was traceable to, like I have described, was traceable to what Dr. Thomas Lambo, because he is the first known Western medical psychiatry, the first known Western trained psychiatrist in the whole of Nigeria and Africa. But Latunde Odeku should not be mistaken, because he is not a psychiatrist, he is a neurosurgeon. But Thomas Lambo is the psychiatrist, and so is the answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 3. Which of the following best describes growth? A. Increase in number of cells. B. Increase in cellular metabolism. C. Cell enlargement. D. Cell division, elongation and specialization. And E. Cell division. Now the question is, which of the following best describes growth? Now, growth is defined as a permanent increase in size and complexity of an organism or individual during development. Now, this is growth. Now, what brings about growth? Growth is as a result of 1. Cell division, that is the multiplication of cells, be it what mitosis or meiosis, that is be it mitotic or meiotic cell division. Next, after cell division is what? Cell elongation or cell enlargement. Now, this cell elongation simply what describes the ability of these divided cells, that is the daughter cells that are as a result of cell division, the ability to increase in size. That is cell elongation or enlargement. Then after cell elongation and enlargement, the next is what? Cell specialization. That is the ability of these cells to specialize, that is to give rise to different kind of cells. Ability of these daughter cells to give rise to different kind of cells. That is cell specialization. And these three components brings about growth: cell division, elongation and specialization. And so therefore we can say that growth is best described as as cell division, cell elongation and cell specialization, since these three components give rise to growth. And that is option D. So the correct answer to this question is option D. We can describe growth as cell division, elongation and specialization. Thank you and God bless you. And just subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 4. The first set of teeth found in children is dash teeth: A. Premolar, B. Molar, C. Milk, D. Incisor, and E. Canine. Now, the first set of teeth found in children is known as the baby teeth, or the milk teeth, or the temporary teeth. Now, this milk teeth is the first and temporary set of teeth is the first and temporary set of teeth found in children, which is later replaced by the permanent teeth found in adults. Now, if you look at these options here, option A, C, D, and E, like says premolar. Option A, B, sorry, A says premolar, B says molar, D says inciso, and E canine. Now, all these are just towards the types of teeth. You know, the types of teeth. You have the molar, the premolar, the inciso, and the canine with their respective uses. This premolar and molar are used for chewing or crushing, then or grinding also. Then the inciso is used for cutting, and then the canine is used for tearing. But then this milk teeth is its first set of the teeth. Is the first set of teeth. Then the other set of teeth is the permanent teeth that replaces this milk teeth. So the answer to this question is option C, the milk teeth or the temporary teeth. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 5. Which of the following organelles is not found in animal cell? A. Vacuole, B. Ribosome, C. Plastid, D. Mitochondria, and E. Endoplasmic reticulum. Now we are asked to pick an option which is an organelle that is not found in animal cell. Now, all these organelles are found in animal cell except plastid. Plastid is found in only plant cells or plant-like organisms cells. Now these plastids are membrane. It's a membrane bound organelle. That it has a membrane. It's a membrane bound organelle found in what? Found in cells of plants. Now it manufactures. This is the function now. It manufactures and stores important chemical substance or chemical compounds. Important chemical compounds that is required by plants to manufacture their food. Required by plants to manufacture their foods. So this is the function of plastid, and you can see that plants are autotrophs. So plastid actually help with these plants by providing compounds that is required for them to manufacture their food. So plastid is only found in plants and not found in what? Animal cell, thereby making it the correct answer. Now vacuole is present in animal cell because the vacuole contains the cell sap. Likewise, the ribosome also is present in animal cell. The ribosome helps in protein synthesis, that is synthesis of protein. Now mitochondria too is found in what? Animal cell. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell that provides energy. It provides energy required for metabolism. And endoplasmic reticulum too is present in animal cell. It is also responsible for the synthesis and transportation of proteins. Synthesis and transportation and packaging of proteins. So the answer to this question is option C, plastid. Plastid is only found in plant cell. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 6. The liquid that helps keep the spherical shape of the eye is A. Vitreous humor, B. Sclera, C. Retina, D. Fovea centralis, and E. Aqueous humor. Now these are the various parts of the eyes. We have the vitreous humor and the aqueous humor. Already, since the question says the liquid that helps, we can just single out what? Vitreous humor and aqueous humor, because these are the liquid components. But now let's just take them one after the other. Now for vitreous humor is the what? Is a clay gel. is a clear gel, and it is what's located between the lens and the retina of the eyeball. Between lens and retina of the eyeball. Now it helps to what? Support the shape of the eye. It helps to support the shape of the eye. Support the shape of the eye. So it helps to protect the eye. That is, it ensures the what? Spherical shape of the eye. Now option B says sclera. Now sclera is the white portion of the eye, the white visible portion of the eye that you can see, the white portion of the eye, that is the outer layer of the eye, that protects the eye. So it's the protective, you can call it the outer or the white outer protective layer of the eyes. It is posterior to the cornea. Now the retina is what? Is the sensible or the light sensitive part of the eye where images are formed. Images are formed. Now this retina receives what? Light rays from the lens, that is directed from the lens towards to form image. Then the fovea centralis is a central part. Is a central part located in the what? In the luteal. You find it in the luteal. And now this fovea centralis helps to what? Form a central what? Vision. A clear central vision, which is required for reading, required for driving, and so on. Now the aqueous humor is also a what? Is also a gel. Is a gel. Now this aqueous humor is located between the lens. You find it between the lens and the iris. Now this aqueous humor helps to what? It helps to provide nutrients. It provides nutrients to the cornea. Provides nutrients to the cornea and ciliary bodies. So for my description now, you agree with me that the liquid that helps keep the spherical shape of the eye is the vitreous humor, like I've said, because the vitreous humor is a clear gel that helps to support the shape of the eye. And let me just give a brief diagram. Let's say for instance we have a diagram, don't mind my diagram please, of the eye like this. These are the optic nerves. This is where the retina is usually located, the retina. Now let's assume it is like this, and this is our lens. Now the aqueous humor is usually found around the side. I mean the vitreous humor is found around the side. The vitreous humor. Then the aqueous humor is usually found around the side. Aqueous humor. Now this vitreous humor that fills this space is what helps us maintain this spherical shape of the eye. So the answer to this question is what? The vitreous humor. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 7. The two major functions of the ear are A. Hearing and vasodilation, B. Hearing and accommodation, C. Balancing and osmoregulation, D. Balancing and hearing, and then E. Accommodation and balancing. Now the ear is a special organ of hearing. Here is a special organ of hearing, and the ear doesn't just help in hearing, but it also help in maintaining balance. It helps in maintaining balance due to the presence of fluids in the ear canal. Now this fluid in the ear canal, known as the endolymph, helps to maintain balance, and so we can say the ear is the organ of balance and hearing. Now option A says hearing and vasodilation. Hearing is a function of the ear, but vasodilation is not a function of the ear. Vasodilation is a function of the blood vessel. B says hearing and accommodation. Hearing is a function of the ear, but accommodation is the function of the eye. Now C says balancing and osmoregulation. Balancing is a function of the ear, like I've described, but osmoregulation is not the function of the ear. Osmoregulation is a function of the kidney. Now this is balancing and hearing. Balancing and hearing are the two major functions of the ear, like I've described, so it is correct. Then E says accommodation and balancing. Accommodation is a function of the eye, and balancing is a function of the ear, so this is wrong. So the answer to this question is option D, balancing and hearing. Thank you and God bless you, and share subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 8. Vasoconstriction and vasodilatation are alternate processes of A. Ultrafiltration, B. Thermoregulation, C. Osmoregulation, D. Homeostasis, and E. Accommodation. Now, vasoconstriction and vasodilatation are processes of thermoregulations. These are actions of the blood vessel, that is the arteries and the vein. They undergo vasoconstriction and vasodilatation depending on the temperature of the environment. Now, during hot condition, there will be vasodilatation. Now, this vasodilatation will help in the opening. That is, there will be increase in the diameter of the blood vessels, that is the arteries, and so more blood will be pumped now to the skin. Now, as this blood is pumped to the skin, there will be cooling of this blood. Remember, the skin is the external part of the body. So as the blood gets to the skin, the temperature of the environment will help cool the blood, so that the blood can then go back and cool the body. So that is vasodilatation. Now, during cold condition, vasoconstriction occurs. Now, this vasoconstriction is like the opposite of vasodilatation. There will be reduction in the diameter of the blood vessel, thereby preventing or reducing the amount of blood flow to the skin. Reducing amount of blood flow to the skin. Now, due to this reduction in the amount of blood flow to the skin, there will be the temperature of the body, that is the inner temperature of the body, will be maintained. Temperature of the body will be maintained because the temperature of the surrounding will not affect the blood, since less blood is flowing to the skin. But in terms of vasodilatation, that more blood is flowing to the skin, the temperature of the environment will have to affect the blood, cooling the blood, thereby going to cool the body during hot condition. So, but in cold condition, vasoconstriction occurs to maintain the temperature of the body. Now, ultrafiltration here is done by the kidney. Ultrafiltration, that is the filtration of substances present in the blood when it flows to the kidney in order to produce urine. Now, osmoregulation here is also a function of the kidney also, that is the regulation of water balance is a function of the kidney. Now, homeostasis in general is the maintenance of constant internal environment. Maintenance of constant internal environments, that is homeostasis. Now, homeostasis covers it covers this ultrafiltration, covers thermoregulation, and covers osmoregulation. So the general term for all this is homeostasis. Now, accommodation is the ability of the eye to change focus, ability of the eye to change focus when viewing different objects. So the answer to this question is option B, thermoregulation. So vasoconstriction and vasodilatation are alternate processes of thermoregulation. Thank you and God bless you, and subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 9. The system responsible for relay and coordination of electrical impulses in the body is A. Skeletal, B. Nervous, C. Endocrine, D. Digestive, and E. Circulatory. Now let's go through the systems to know. Now the skeletal system is the body or the bony framework of the body. That's the skeletal system, involving the cartilages, the bone, and so on. Now, this skeletal system helps to provide support for the body. They support the body. Now, not only support, they also help to protect delicate organs in the body. Take, for instance, the rib cage, for example. The rib cage is made up of bones and cartilage, but it helps protect what? It helps protect the heart and the lungs. So that is what the skeletal system. Now, B says the nervous system. Now, the nervous system coordinates actions and sensory information by transmitting signals to and fro from different parts of the body. So they coordinate. The nervous system is responsible for the coordination of actions, all actions that occur in the body, and also sensory informations. Sensory information by transmitting signals. By transmitting signals to and from different parts of the body. So this is the function of the nervous system. It simply means that nervous system transmit electrical impulse. This signal here refers to electrical impulse. Now C says endocrine. The endocrine system now is concerned with what we call hormones. Endocrine system is concerned with what's called hormones. Now the endocrine system also coordinates, just like the nervous system, it coordinates with actions, but then endocrine system is concerned with hormones now, not impulses. It carries out its action through hormones, that is chemical substances, not through electrical impulses, which are signals. That's the difference between the nervous and endocrine system. And the endocrine response usually lasts longer and is slow, but that of the nervous lasts for a short time but is very very fast because it was electrical impulse. Now option D says digestive system. Digestive system is a system concerned with concerned with food metabolism. The system concerned with food metabolism, where digestion, or concerned with the intake, digestion, and absorption of nutrients. Now the last but not the least is the circulatory system. Now the circulatory system is like the transport system of the body. It's the transport system of the body, which consists of the heart, it consists of the blood vessels, the veins, the capillaries, and the arteries. Now they're responsible for circulating. That's where the circulatory system comes from. Circulating blood and other substances around the body. Now the question asks us for the system responsible for relay and coordination of electrical impulses, and that is the nervous system, which controls all action and sensory information of the body by coordinating electrical impulses to and from the body. So the answer to this question is option B, nervous system. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 10. The two organs that make up the central nervous system are A. Dendrites and synapse, B. Brain and spinal cord, C. Brain and dendrites, D. Afferent and motor neurons, and E. Afferent and efferent neuron. Now, the nervous system. The nervous system is divided into two. We have the central nervous system, what we call the CNS, and the peripheral nervous system, what we call the PNS. Now this central nervous system consists of the brain and the spinal cord, while the peripheral nervous system consists of all other parts absent in the central nervous system, that is making up of the neurons. The neurons now. The neurons, the synapse, that is the other component of the nervous system that is absent in the central nervous system. Now we've gotten our answer to the brain and spinal cord, which is option B. But then I want to talk more on this dendrites. Now dendrites is a part of a neuron. Let's say for instance we have a neuron like this. Let's say for instance this is a neuron. This is a neuron. Now this is the cell body. Now these are the dendrites. This one I'm drawing now are the dendrites. The dendrites are branch processes that what transmit impulses to the cell body. That is, they bring what electric impulse from other what nerves or neurons to the cell body. So this is the dendrites. Now synapse is that point where, let's say for instance, we have another neuron like this. Now this point where these two neurons meet to exchange information or impulse is what we call the synapse. So now the afferent neurons, afferent, and we have efferent. Now the afferent neurons are also known as the what? Motor neurons. And the afferent neurons are also known as sensory neurons. Sorry, sensory. Then the efferents are also known as the motor neurons. Now the difference between these two neurons is that the afferent neurons, they would carries impulse to the brain, or spinal cord, but the efferent neurons receives impulse from the brain or spinal cord and carries it to the effector organ. But the answer to this question is what? Brain and spinal cord. Those are the two components of the central nervous system. So with this, I have explained what the dendrite is, a synapse is, afferent and efferent neuron. So thank you and God bless you. And ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 11. Which of the following is not a reflex action? A. Swallowing, B. Sneezing, C. Knee-jerking, D. Coughing, and E. Blinking the eyes. Now, what is a reflex action? Now, reflex actions are automatic responses to stimuli. This word automatic simply means what's involuntary, that is, they are responses that are not controlled by our own selves. So they are automatic responses to stimuli. They occur very rapidly. They occur very rapidly in a stereotyped manner. Now, this simply means that the response to the given stimuli is always the same. So when I say they occur very rapidly in a stereotyped manner, this stereotyped manner simply means that the response to this stimuli is always the same. Now, they do not involve the conscious or higher centers of the brain. Like I said they are involuntary. The reflex action are involuntary. So they do not require the consciousness. One's consciousness. Now, example of this reflex action includes the knee jerk, when the knee is capped, blinking of the eyes, sneezing, blinking, knee jerk. All these are automatic responses. We do not control these responses. Also, coughing is not controlled by the higher centers. But then swallowing is is a voluntary action. Swallowing is actually controlled. So swallowing is not a reflex action. All these are reflex action except swallowing. So swallowing is the answer to the question, which is option A. Thank you and God bless you. And subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Questions. So, the large intestine consists of the following parts except A. Transverse colon, B. Rectum, C. Duodenum, D. Ascending colon, and E. Appendix. Now, the large intestine is a part of the digestive tract or the alimentary canal of animals or humans. Now, this large intestine consists of several parts. Now, this is a diagram of the large intestine. The large intestine is like this. This is how it is located in humans. Then, like this, forming the rectum. Now, the initial part of the large intestine, where it connects to the small intestine, is known as the cecum, and this cecum contains the appendix, meaning that the appendix is part of the large intestine. Then here is the ascending colon. This is the ascending colon, because another name for the large intestine is colon. The large intestine is also known as colon. So this is the ascending colon. Then here is the transverse colon. The transverse colon. And here is the descending colon. Descending colon. Then we call here the sigmoid colon. And then here is the rectum. Now these are the various parts of the large intestine. These are the various parts of the large intestine or colon. Now, if you look at all these options are part of the large intestine, except option C, which is duodenum. Now, the duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. Is a part of the small intestine. The first part of the small intestine. Other parts of the small intestine includes the jejunum and the ileum. So duodenum is not part of the large intestine, and is the answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 13. Secretion of sweat as a response to elevated external temperature is A. Thermoregulation, B. Peristalsis, C. Osmoregulation, D. Homeostasis, and E. Accommodation. Stars. Secretion of sweat as a response to elevated external temperature. That is secretion of sweat during hot weather or hot temperature. Now, when there is external temperature is high, or when it's elevated external temperature, it is observed that sweats are secreted. That is, during hot weather, sweats are secreted. Now, these sweats are actually secreted in order to cause cooling, because when we sweat, these sweats are being evaporated from the body, and like we know, evaporation causes cooling. Now, this is done in order to maintain the constant temperature of the body. Although the mechanism of this sweating here is thermoregulation, because thermoregulation involves the regulation of body temperature. But then this thermoregulation is a process of homeostasis, because homeostasis is defined as the process of maintenance, or maintaining a constant internal environment. And like you know, temperature is an internal environment. So thermoregulation now helps us to maintain this constant body temperature, no matter the temperature of the surrounding. And that is why when the external temperature is high, the sweats are being secreted, so that when these sweats are evaporated, it causes cooling, thereby maintaining the internal temperature of the body. And that is homeostasis. So secretion of sweats as a response to elevated temperature, which is thermoregulation, is homeostasis, because it is aimed towards maintain the internal body temperature of the body. So the answer to this question is option D, homeostasis. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 14. The olfactory lobe detects the stimuli of A. Touch, B. Taste, C. Smell, D. Sight, and E. Hearing. Now, the olfactory lobe is located in the nose. The olfactory lobe is located in the nose, and it's an organ that is responsible for detecting the stimuli of smell. So the olfactory lobe is a sense organ that enables to detect or perceive smell. Now, touch here is detected by the skin, taste here by the tongue, then smell is by the olfactory lobe located in the nose, sight is by what? Retina in the eye, and hearing is by the organ of corti or the cochlea located in the ear. So smell is the answer to this question, which is option C. Olfactory lobe detect the stimuli of smell and is located in the nose. Thank you and God bless you. And subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 15. The skin is responsive to the following stimuli except A. Touch, B. Shock, C. Pain, D. Heat, and E. Cold. So we have to pick an option which is not a stimuli that the skin responds to. Now the skin is the largest organ in the body, as we all know. The largest organ in the body. And it's also a sense organ, that is, it responds to certain stimuli. Now this stimuli includes cold, pain, touch, heat, and lastly pressure. So the skin contains those receptors that enables it to respond to each of the stimuli. Now from the question you will see that option B here says shock, and from the stimuli I listed below, shock is not part of them, meaning that shock is not a stimuli that the skin responds to. Shock is usually associated with the circulatory system, that is involving the heart and the blood vessels. So the answer to this question is option B, shock. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 16. Which of the following is not part of the skin? A. Tear gland, B. Sweat gland, C. Sebaceous gland, D. Malpighian layer, and E. Dermis. Now, like we know that the skin is the largest organ in the body. Skin is the largest organ in the body. Now, this skin is made up of 4 different layers, and skin is the outer covering of the body that helps to protect the body against what harmful environments. Now, this skin is made up of several parts. First of all, the skin is divided into the 2 layers, the epidermis and the dermis. These are the 2 layers of the skin. Now, in the epidermis, you also have other components of the skin, and in the dermis, you have the and other layer, other parts of the skin. This epidermis is the upper layer, and the dermis is the inner layer of the skin. Now, the skin contains the sweat gland. It contains the sweat gland. It contains the sebaceous gland. The Malpighian layer. This Malpighian layer is the one that contains the pigments or the pigmentation of the skin, and then the dermis, that is the inner layer of the skin. The sweat gland is responsible for the production of sweat or secretion of sweat, and sebaceous gland is responsible for the secretion of sebum. That's that oil that helps to lubricate the skin. So all these are components of the skin. Even the hair follicles. The hair follicle is also a component of the skin. But option A here says tear gland. Now, tear gland is not a component of the skin, or you cannot find tear gland in the skin. Tear gland is found in the eyes, and another name for tear gland is what we call the lacrimal gland. Now, this tear gland helps to secrete liquid fluid, which we call tears, that helps to clean. It helps to clean or protect the eyes from impurities. It helps to remove impurities. So tear gland is found in the eyes, and so therefore it is not found in the skin, making it the answer to this question. So tear gland is not part of the skin. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 17. The cells found in the nervous system is or are A. Thrombocytes, B. Sperm, C. Nerve, D. Muscle, and E. Erythrocyte. Now, the cell found in the nervous system are known as nerve cells or neurons. This is the cells found in the nervous system. Now, basically, these nerve cells or neurons are the basic, or you can call them the structural and functional units of the nervous system. That is the nerve cell. So the answer to this question is option C, nerve cells. A here says thrombocytes. Thrombocytes is also known as platelets, and these cells are found in the blood. B says sperm. Sperm cells are not found in the nervous system. Sperm cells are associated with what? With the reproductive system. Now, option D says muscle. Muscle cells also is not found in the nervous system. Muscle cells is not found in the nervous system. Muscle cells are found in muscle tissues. That enable what? Contractions. Enable us to move from one place to another. Then option E here is erythrocytes, also known as the red blood cell. Now, red blood cells are located in the blood, that is the circulatory system. So the cell found in the nervous system is the nerve cell or neuron, and that is option C. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 18. Which of the following is the least in terms of physiological complexity? A. Tissue, B. System, C. Organisms, D. Organ, and E. Cell. So we are asked for the least in terms of the physiological complexity. Now, the physiological complexity begins from cell to tissue, then from tissue to organs, from organs to system, then from system to organism. This simply means that cell is the least in terms of physiological complexity. Now, cell is defined as the basic units of life, because every organism originates from what? From cell. Every tissue originates from cell, every organs originate from cell, and every system originates from cell. So it is defined as the fundamental and basic, or the fundamental or functional and structural units of what? Of life. Now, tissue on the other hand is made up of what? Cells. That is group of similar cells working together. That is tissue. Then the organ now is what's made up of tissues, group of tissues working together to carry out what? A similar function. Example of cell is the nerve cell. Example of tissue, you have the muscle. The muscle is a tissue. Example of organ, you have the liver. The heart is an organ. Then system now are made up of different organs. Example of system is the circulatory system. You can see that the circulatory system is made up of the heart and the blood vessels. Then organism now is composed of different systems working together to carry out what? For different functions. An organism consists of different systems, consists of the respiratory system, the reproductive system, and so on. But now you can see that the list of all this is the cell, because all this actually originates from the cell. So cell is the least in terms of physiological complexity, and that is option E. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 19. Where are uticulus found in human? In or on the A. Skin, B. Outer ear, C. Middle ear, D. Inner ear, and E. Eye. Now the uticulus or the utricle, you can also call them the utricles, are found or located in the ear. They're located in the ear. But if you look at the options now, the option wants us to specify whether it is in the outer, middle, or inner ear. Now, to be more specific, the utricles are located in the inner ear. They are located in the inner ear and are concerned with maintaining of what balance, together with the circles, and the semicircular canals. So these utricles are actually found in the inner ear, and they are responsible for the maintenance of balance together with the circles and semicircular canal. Also, the cochlea, which is the organ of hearing, is also located in the inner ear. So the answer to this question is option D, inner ear. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 20. Hemoglobin is the chemical compound by which blood cells receive A. Water, B. Oxygen, C. Nutrient, D. Carbon, and E. Carbon 4 oxide. Now, hemoglobin, Hb, is a pigment or a chemical pigment that is found in the red blood cell, and this is why the color of the red blood cell is red. It is due to the presence of hemoglobin. Now, this hemoglobin has a very high affinity for oxygen. It has high affinity for oxygen, and that is why it is possible for the red blood cell to transport oxygen to different parts of the body. So hemoglobin enables the blood cells to receive what? Oxygen, and that is option B, oxygen from the environment. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 21. The postural defects associated with the limb is A. Scoliosis, B. Lordosis, C. Kyphosis, D. Knock-knee, and E. Humpback. Now, what are postural defects? Postural defects simply refers to as postural abnormalities. In other words, that is, they are deviation from correct posture. Deviation from the correct posture. Now, these postural defects ranges. We have the postural defects that is associated with the vertebra, that is the backbone, and postural defects associated with the limbs. But the question here now is asking for the postural defects associated with the limbs. Now, option A here says scoliosis. Scoliosis, lordosis, kyphosis, and humpback are all associated with what? With the vertebra. That is, they are associated with the backbone. Now, in terms of scoliosis, now there is sidewards, like extreme curvature towards the side. In terms of scoliosis, but in lordosis now, lordosis usually affect the lumbar vertebra, whereby the lumbar vertebra curves inward extremely than normal. It curves inward extremely than normal. Then the kyphosis affect the thoracic vertebra, whereby it curves the chest region curves outward, that is extremely outward than normal, thereby resulting in a hunchback or humpback. So this humpback is another name for kyphosis. But if you look at option D here says knock-knee. Now, from this word knock-knee, you know that it's associated with what? With the lower limb, that is the leg. And in knock-knee, you notice that the two knees are usually close together, but then the foot or the legs are then separated from each other, what we call the K-leg. The local name will give it is the K-leg. So knock-knee is a postural defect associated with what? With the lower limb. And since the question is asking us for the postural defect associated with the limbs, we can therefore say knock-knee is the answer to this question, because the other options are actually associated with the backbone or the vertebra. So the answer to this question is option D, knock-knee. Thank you and God bless you. You should subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 22. Virulence can be described as ability of a pathogen to A. Reproduce, B. Mutate, C. Incubate, D. Form spores, and E. Cause disease. Now, when you hear of the word virulence in terms of pathology, when you hear of the word virulence simply refers to the ability of a pathogen, and like you know, pathogen are disease causing organisms. So the ability of a pathogen or a microbes, that is microorganism, to infect or damage a host. In other words, the ability of an organism to cause disease. That is what we call virulence, and that is option E. So the word virulence simply refers to the ability of a pathogen, that is the ability of a disease causing organism to cause disease, that is infect its host or damage the host. So that is option E, cause disease. Thank you and God bless you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 23. The major determinants of health are A. Nutrition, heredity, drugs, and environment. B. Nutrition, environment, lifestyle, and heredity. C. Hygiene, exercise, rest, and drugs. D. Hygiene, drugs, rest, and diet. And E. Environment, diet, rest, and drugs. Now we are asked for the major determinants of health. And like we know, health is defined by WHO as the complete or total mental, physical, social, emotional well-being of an individual without merely the absence of disease. Without merely the absence of disease. Now, this is the word definition of health by WHO. Now, this health has its determinant. Determinants of health may be biological, it may be behavioral, social, cultural, economic, and ecological. But then, this determinants of health has been broadly categorized into four major categories. Four major categories. Now, this include 1. Nutrition. Nutrition is one of the major determinants of health. 2. Lifestyle. One's lifestyle affects one's health. Also, environment. One's environment, that is how clean your environment is, your surroundings. And then lastly, heredity, that is Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 24. A device worn to protect the eyes is A. Muffs, B. Helmet, C. Goggles, D. Gloves, E. Cuffs. Now, all these listed here are safety devices. And you know, safety devices are devices that's worn to protect the delicate parts of the body, like the eyes, the ear, which is the eardrum, the skin, and so on. Now, the device one to protect the eyes is the goggle, which is option C. Goggles are one to protect the eyes, especially when working in the sawdust industry or the welding industry. Now, it is important that you use goggle in order to protect the eyes. Helmet is used to protect the skull. Muffs are used to protect the ear, that is from high sound intensity. Then gloves are used to protect the hand from maybe corrosive acids and the rest. Then cuffs are also used to protect the body. So the answer to this question is option C, goggle, which is used to what? Protect the eyes. It's a safety device. Thank you and God bless you. And just subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 25. Which of the following is most appropriate in hot, humid weather? A. Tight lining attire. B. Tight cotton attire. C. Loose woolen attire. D. Loose lining attire. And E. Loose cotton attire. Now, during a hot, humid weather, it is common that we sweat. It is common that we sweat during hot, humid weather. Now, this is because of the high temperature of the environment. Now, the best attire or the best clothing during this period is the cotton, and it is necessary that this cotton should not be tight, but loosen to allow ventilation. So, loose cotton attire is actually the best during hot, humid weather. Now, this is the reason. This is because it is soft, lightweight, breathable, and soaks up sweat easily. Allowing heat to escape the body, and for us to stay for you to stay cool, and that is why the best fabric for hot, humid weather is loose cotton fabric or loose cotton attire, because it allows for proper ventilation. It helps to soak sweat easily and prevent this sweat from drying against the skin, and it causes cooling. So the best is option E, that is loose cotton attire is the best attire for hot, humid weather. Thank you and God bless you. And just to ask you subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 27. Fly is a disease vector of A. Typhus, B. Trypanosomiasis, C. Malaria, D. Lupus, and E. Glaucoma. Now, Fly is a disease vector. When we say disease vector, it simply means a disease carrying organism. That is, vector is different from pathogen. Take notes. Pathogens are disease causing organisms, but vectors are insects that carries disease causing organisms. That is, vectors carries the pathogens. Now, fly is a vector of trypanosomiasis. Now, this trypanosomiasis is also known as the sleeping sickness. Trypanosomiasis is also known as the sleeping sickness. So, fly is a disease vector for trypanosomiasis. Now, that of malaria is mosquito. Mosquito is a disease vector of malaria. And that doesn't mean that mosquito causes malaria. Mosquito carries plasmodium, which is responsible for causing malaria. And likewise, Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 28. The objective of school health program include the following except A. Giving health record, B. Giving immunization, C. Control of communicable diseases, D. Assessment of teaching and learning aid, and E. Assessment of handicapped children. So, school health program. School health program ensure that the school pupils school health program ensure that the school pupils are as healthy as possible and to obtain the maximum benefits from his or her education. Now, from what I just explained now, you see that school health program is mainly what's ensured or aimed at what's catering for the health of every school pupil and even what school workers, not just school pupils alone or students, but school health program is ensured what to cater for the health of every member of the school, and it involves keeping of what health records, given immunization, control of communicable disease in the school, and what assessment of handicapped children. But if you look at option D here, option D says assessment of teaching and learning aid. Now, this is not the what objective of the school health program. This is not the objective of the school health program, because school health program is not concerned with what with assessment of teaching or learning aid. Theirs is just concerned with what with the health status and what health promotions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 29. The process of introducing into the body organism to produce resistance against disease is A. Quarantine, B. Immunization, C. Immunity, D. Disinfection, and E. Agglutination. Now, there are two terms that I'm going to be explaining here under this. Now, the process of introducing into the body organism to produce resistance against disease is known as immunization. Immunization, that is the process of introducing this, but the act of introducing, now take note, the act of introducing these organisms or vaccines to produce immunity is known as vaccination. Now take note, vaccination is the act of introducing what these organisms or vaccines to produce what immunity against disease, but immunization is the process of what of vaccination, that is the process of introducing what vaccines or these organisms to produce resistance. So immunization is the what process, while vaccination is the act. So therefore the answer to this question is option B, immunization. Now, to quarantine simply means what to separate what an infected organism from others, that is to separate or isolate. Now, immunity simply refers to what the ability of the body to resist the entrance of pathogens. Then disinfection simply means what to purify. Then agglutination just simply means clumping of blood associated with blood, clumping of blood cells. But the answer to this question is option B, immunization, like I have explained. Thank you and God bless you. And just subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 30. A pathogen carrying insects which spread disease is A. Vector, B. Reservoir, C. Pest, D. Host, and E. Carrier. A pathogen carrying insect which spread disease. Now, a pathogen carrying insect that spread disease is known as what? A disease vector. So therefore, we can say vectors are organisms that carries disease causing organisms. That is, vectors are organisms that carries what pathogens. Now, it is usually mistaken. We usually mistake what vectors and pathogen. Now, pathogens are the disease-causing organisms. They are the disease-causing organisms. Take note. Vectors are the carriers of these pathogens, but vectors do not cause disease. Then these pathogens are those that causes what disease. Example of vectors include the fly, the mosquitoes, and so on, black fly, and so on. But example of pathogens include the what? The viruses, the bacteria, the fungi. So a pathogen carrying insect that spread disease is called what? A vector. A vector. Pests are organisms that causes what? Damage to their to they causes damage to what? To livestock. That is, you can find pests in what? In the farm. So that is it. Vectors is the answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 31. The question says, which of the following is not a source of vital statistics? A. School health records. B. Markets. C. Hospitals. D. Dispensaries and e-clinics. Now, what are these vital statistics? Vital statistics refers to what? Important informations. Important what? Informations pertaining health of individuals. Now, when we say vital statistics, we simply refers to what? We refers to birth data. We refers to birth data. We refers to mortality data. Mortality data. We have what? Fetal death data, that is death of young ones. We have linked birth and death data, marriage and divorces. Now, all these are what? Vital what? Statistics. Even national maternal and infant health surveys, all these are vital statistics. Now, the question says, which of the following is not a source of vital statistic? Now, all these data, all these statistics involving what? The birth data, mortality data, and so on, can actually be gotten from what? From school health records, because school health records definitely will carry the births of what? Of pupils or students, and also some disease associated with them. Even the hospitals also. Hospital is one of the best places where vital statistics can be what's gotten. Even the dispensaries and the clinics. But now in the markets where transactions, where selling and buying of goods occur, it is not possible to get or these vital statistics from what? Market. So therefore, market is not a source of what? Vital statistics, making it the correct answer to this question, which is option B. Because in markets, the major activities in the market is buying and selling, not what? Not keeping of vital statistics or keeping of best data or datas concerning the health of what? Individuals. So the answer to this question is option B, markets. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 32. Properties of potable water include the following except being A. Translucent, B. Tasteless, C. Odorless, D. Germ-free, and E. Colorless. Now, a potable water possesses the following characteristics. 1. It must be what? Tasteless. 2. It must be odorless. 3. It must be colorless. And it must be germ-free. Now, if you look at option A, which is not part of these characteristics I just mentioned, option A here says translucent. Now, translucent here simply means that it allows for the passage of light, but not what? Clearly. This translucent means it's not like very clear. You know, when something is very clear, you can say it's transparent because what? Light can pass through. But translucent simply means what? Not very clear, so that just little amount of light can penetrate, and therefore this translucence is not a property of a potable water, because a potable water normally should allow light to pass through it, because potable water are clear. very clear, but this sample simply means not very clear, so therefore it is not a property of what potable water, thereby making it the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 33. Chlorination of public water supply is to A. Kill all vegetative germs, B. Improve the taste of the water, C. Change the pH of the water, D. Attenuate all harmful microbes, and E. Alter the water's hydrogen concentration. Now, before water can be supplied to the public, it has to undergo several steps of what? Purification. Several steps of purification. This involves what? Flocculation or coagulation, whereby this water is passed through large settling tanks where chemicals like potash oilums are placed in order to what? In order to clump together impurities, big impurities, to remove them. Then after that, the next is what? Passing this water through sediments in order to remove what? Fine particles. That's sedimentation to remove what? Fine particles. Then after that is now the what? Addition of chlorine. Now the main aim of addition of chlorine, which is chlorination of public water, is to kill what? Germs, vegetative or germs, which is option A. The main aim of chlorination or addition of chlorine is to kill these germs. Now after this chlorination, the next is then what? The regulation of the pH of this water by adding calcium oxide. Now this calcium oxide helps to what? Neutralize the pH of this water, which is also what? Alter the water hydrogen concentration or change the pH of the water. Then after that, other elements like fluorine and iodine can be added to improve the taste and quality of this water. But the purpose of chlorination or addition of chlorine is to kill what? Vegetative germs, which is option A. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 34. Isolation of an infected person to prevent further spread of disease is A. Vaccination, B. Quarantine, C. Inoculation, D. Immunization, and E. Confinement. Now, isolation of an infected person to prevent further spread of disease is known as quarantine. I believe we've heard of quarantine, like even most especially this COVID-19 period, whereby an infected person with COVID-19 is quarantined, that is isolated, in order to prevent what? The spread of this disease to others. So to quarantine someone simply means what? To isolate an infected person in order to prevent what? The spread of this disease. Now vaccination here simply refers to the act of giving vaccines. That's vaccination. Then inoculation here simply refers to what? The act of introducing substances like toxoids into the body to help fight against what? Certain diseases. Then immunization here is the process of what? Vaccination. The act of giving vaccines is vaccination, but the process of vaccination is known as what? Immunization. Process of vaccination is known as immunization. Then confinement just simply means what? To enclose. But confinement actually doesn't deal with what? A health-related case. But to quarantine means to isolate that infected person in order to prevent further spread of this disease. So therefore, option B is the correct answer to this question. Quarantine. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 35. Which of the following is a type of pollution? A. Smoke, B. Sewage, C. Refuse, D. Noise, and E. Feces. Now, first of all, what is pollution? Pollution simply refers to as the contamination of our environment or surrounding, making it unfit for man's survival. Now this is just the basic definition of pollution. Now we have several types of pollution depending on the area of the environment where this pollution affects, because we have the various areas on the environment includes the air, which is the atmosphere, the water, that's water bodies, the land, and also now this can also be written as air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, or what you call soil pollution. Then included is the noise pollution, because noise pollution is a disturbance. It affects the environment. Now these are the various types of pollution we have, but now we say contamination. Pollution is the contamination of the environment. That is, when we say contamination of the environment, it refers to the release of harmful substances, toxic substances into the environment. Now these harmful substances that are released into the environment, which causes pollution, are what we call pollutants. That refers to as pollutants. Examples include the smoke that affects that causes air pollution, sewage that causes water pollution, refuse that causes soil or land pollution. Now if you look at the options here, now you see that option D, noise, is a type of pollution, but the other options here, which is smoke, sewage, refuse, and feces, are all pollutants. And like I said, pollutants are the harmful substances that causes pollution, but the type of pollution here is the noise pollution. So the answer to this question is option D, noise pollution. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 36. A disease outbreak that attack a large number of people at a given time is A, sporadic, B, pandemic, C, idiopathic, D, epidemic, and E, endemic. Now sporadic simply means that this disease outbreak is irregular. When a disease outbreak is irregular, that is, occur at irregular intervals, we say it is sporadic. Now pandemic is an epidemic. Pandemic is an epidemic that spreads across countries or continents. Now when an epidemic occurs and it spreads across various countries and continents, it becomes a pandemic. Now option C says idiopathic. Now idiopathic is any disease that has no known cause, that is, the cause of this disease is unknown. Cause of idiopathic disease are unknown, so we refer to those diseases as idiopathic disease. Any disease that has no known cause, we say it is an idiopathic disease. Now epidemic or disease, an epidemic disease, these are widespread occurrence of infectious disease in a community over a particular time. Now when a disease outbreak attack a large number of people or community at a given time, at a given or particular time, we say it is an epidemic. But here says endemic. Endemic now is a disease that just affects, or disease that is known or peculiar to a community or country. A community or country, like maybe Africa. So when a disease is particular to a particular community, we call it an endemic. So from this description, and you agree with me that the answer to this question is epidemic. Epidemic is a widespread of infectious disease that attack communities or large number of people at a given time. Now we would have said the answer is pandemic, but pandemic is an epidemic. So when this epidemic now spread across countries and continents, then we say it is what a pandemic or epidemic is. It is this outbreak that attack large number of people at a given time. So the correct answer to this question is option D, an epidemic. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 37. Factors to be considered in constructing a residential building include the following except A. Topography of the area, B. Soil type, C. Proximity to social amenities, D. Occupation, and E. Climate of area. Now, when citing a residential building now simply means our homes. When citing a residential building or constructing a residential building, some certain environmental factors has to be considered. Environmental factors has to be considered, and this includes what the topography of this area. Now topography here refers to the slope of that area, that is how slopey that area is. Now when this topography of the area is considered, then it is possible to look for a way to construct this building in a way that it would match the slope of this area. So topography here represents what slope, that is how slopey what the land is. Now B says soil type. Soil type is also what a factor to be considered, like the loamy soil, the clay soil, and the sand soil. Now when constructing a residential building in any type of this soil, it is necessary you know this type of soil so that you know the exact amount of building materials you need to impute in constructing either the foundation or in constructing the buildings. Because like take for instance now the clay soil that has much water retention, you should know that more materials will be what's needed in order to construct a building in this type of soil. So soil type is is a very important factor that needs to be considered. Also, proximity to social amenities is also important. Now constructing a residential building in a place where there's no social amenities is not ideal. Social amenities includes the lights, water, and so on. Now for us to construct a residential building where people will live, because residential building simply means where people live, that is a building where people will live. Now it is necessary that they have access to various social amenities. Now option E says climate of the area. The climate of the area is also important, that is the temperature of this area, the frequency of the rainfall, and everything about this area is important. So climate is also an important factor. But then occupation is not an environmental factor that needs to be considered when constructing a residential building. Occupation here do not affect the construction of a residential building, because occupation simply deals with the work that the individual is doing to earn money, so it doesn't affect this, and so therefore occupation will be the answer to this question, since the question is asking us for a factor that is not considered. So the answer to this question is option D, occupation. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 38. Which of the following is the most likely to pollute groundwater? A. Water treatment plant, B. Waste paper, C. Smoke, D. Sewage, and E. Dust. Now, like we know that pollution simply refers to the release of harmful substances into the environment. Now, this environment includes the water, the soil, that's the land, and then the air. Now, these harmful substances that are released into the environment are referred to as pollutants. We refer to them as pollutants. Now those that pollute the water bodies are referred to as water pollutants. Those that pollute the air body are referred to as air pollutants. And then those that pollute the soil or the land are referred to as soil pollutants, since pollutants are these harmful substances that causes damage to the environment. Now the question is asking us for the most likely to pollute the groundwater, that is out of these options the one that is a water pollutant from this option. Now water treatment plant is not a water pollutant, so it is not. Waste paper is a land pollutant, that is soil pollutant, not a water pollutant. Now smoke is air pollutant, not a water pollutant. And likewise, option E says dust is also an air pollutant. But if you look at option D here, option D says sewage. Now, sewage are always what? Waste liquid from homes, companies, or industries, ranging from what? Ranging from physics or what? Or used liquids or water. That's sewage. Now, when the sewage are released into the water body, it is noted that what? This sewage contaminates the water, thereby making the water unfit for use, and also affecting the lives of aquatic organisms present in this water. So the most suitable or the most likely to pollute groundwater from this option is D, and this is because what? Sewage is a water pollutant. So therefore, making sewage the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 39. The richest source of folic acid is A. Orange, B. Liver, C. Egg, D. Cheese, and E. Butter. Now, folic acid, like we know, is a very, very important chemical that is required in the body. It is very, very important in the body. Now, this folic acid function as it helps in the maturation of red blood cell. It helps in the maturation of red blood cell, that is the cell responsible for transport of oxygen in the body or respiratory gases. And folic acid also important for the growth of infants or growth of fetus in the womb. Now, the richest source of folic acid from this option given here is the liver, which is option B. The liver contains what? Very, very high amounts of folic acid, very high amounts of folic acid, and is therefore regarded to be the richest source of folic acid. Now, A. Orange also contains folic acid, but its amount is not as that of the liver, because orange mainly is a fruit and contains various vitamins. Also, the egg also contains of other vitamins, likewise the cheese and the butter. You can get fat and oil from butter, but the most richest source of folic acid, from like the question is asking, is the liver, which is option B. The liver, which is the site of most of the metabolic functions in the body or metabolic reaction in the body. So the liver contains most of folic acid, and therefore it is advised that liver should be consumed to get more folic acid in the body, since folic acid has a lot of importance in the body, like I have mentioned, maturation of red blood cells and growth of fetus and other more functions. Even in the formation of certain vitamins in the body, folic acid is very important. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 40. The best way of making milk safe for consumption is by A. Sedimentation, B. Pasteurization, C. Filtration, D. Fermentation, and E. Crystallization. Now, milk, like we know, is very important in the body because it's a very, very rich source of protein, and it's gotten from animals. Now, due to the nature of milk, it is possible that milk contains a lot of pathogens. Now, the best way to make milk safe for consumption is by pasteurization. That's pasteurizing the milk. Now, pasteurization involves involves the heating. It involves the heating or treatment of milk with mild heat, or treatment with mild heat, in order to remove pathogens, and also to extend the shelf life, and that's what pasteurization involves. That is heating or treatment of milk with mild heat. Now, the heat in this case is not very, very high or much. But if you look at option A says sedimentation. Now, sedimentation is a process for purifying water purification, whereby water is passed over fine beds of particles in order to sediment these particles present in the water. Filtration, here also is a separation technique that is used to separate. It's used to separate a solute which is insoluble in a what, in a liquid. That is when a substance is insoluble in a liquid. Now it is possible to what, to get back this substance using filtration, whereby filter paper is used to get it. Now fermentation here involves what, an enzyme catalyzed reaction in fermentation, whereby the substance is allowed to what, to ferment. Now crystallization on the other hand is used to separate a solid from a solvent, whereby the solid decomposes easily when heat is applied. But during the application of heat, not much heat is applied, and then when allowed to cool, this solid will then crystallize, and it's mostly used in separation of salts. And this technique is mostly used in also drug industries. So the correct answer to this question, like I have said, is option B, pasteurization. It is the best method used to make milk safe for consumption, because it helps to remove pathogens and also extend the shelf life of milk. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 41. Enzymatic digestion of food in the mouth starts with A. Vitamins, B. Proteins, C. Mineral salts, D. Fat and oil, and E. Carbohydrates. Now, all these options given to us are the various classes of food. Enzymatic digestion of food, that is, the digestion of food in the alimentary canal involves what? Enzymatic reaction, that is, enzymes are involved in this digestion, because enzyme helps to speed up the rate of this reaction. So the enzyme helps us to break down this complex food into a simple manner that's absorbable by the body. Now, the first place where digestion occurs is in the mouth, and this is due to the enzyme present in the saliva. Now the enzyme present in the saliva is known as the enzyme thiolane. And now thiolane is concerned with the digestion of carbohydrates. It's concerned with digestion of carbohydrates. So therefore, the enzymatic digestion of food in the mouth starts with the carbohydrates. That is option E. So thank you and God bless you. And just subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 42. Prolonged absence of a particular nutrient in diet results in dash disease: A. Terminal, B. Infectious, C. Hereditary, D. Degenerative, and E. Deficiency. Now, when there is a prolonged absence of a particular nutrient in diet, it results in a type of disease we call as a deficiency disease. A deficiency disease, and I'll give an example. Let's take for instance kwashiorkor. Now, kwashiorkor is a type of deficiency disease involving the deficiency of proteins in food. It is observed that when a child consumes more carbohydrates than protein for a long period of time, there is a particular physical features we see in this child. That is, the child will have a big head, a slim body, and big stomach. Now, these are signs of kwashiorkor because they are visible signs. Now, this is due to deficiency of protein, so we refer to such disease as deficiency disease. So prolonged absence of a particular nutrient is referred to as deficiency disease, which is option E. Now, terminal disease simply refers to chronic disease, that is at the later stage, or we call it the last stage of this disease. They are referred to as terminal disease when the disease has become chronic. Infectious disease are diseases that can be transmitted from one person to another, so we say they are communicable disease. Now, hereditary disease are those that are gotten from our parents, that is, they are transmittable. They are transmitted through genes. They are transmitted through genes or genetic. Now, degenerative disease are diseases that affect maybe several parts of the body or organs, and thereby decreases the mass of this organ. Like for instance, degenerative disease that affect the liver will degenerate the liver. That is, the cells of the liver will begin to die gradually. So that's what degenerative disease means. But deficiency disease is when it was a prolonged absence of a particular nutrient in diet, and we call them deficiency diseases. So option E is the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 43. Which of the following has the highest amount of protein? A. Soybean, B. Lean meat, C. Groundnut, D. Cowpea, and E. Beans. Now, all the options given to us here are all proteins. All these options are all what? Proteins. But now we are required to give an answer that is the food containing the highest amount of protein. Now, looking at this, if you don't know this answer, there will be no way that you can guess this, because all these are all proteins. Now, the food with the highest amount of protein is beans. And like we know, proteins are simply foods that or is the nutrient that helps to build the body, most especially the muscles. The muscles in the body are made up of proteins, so proteins helps to build the body, and that's why we call them body building food. They even enable us in terms of recovery during injury. So the food with the highest amount of protein is the beans. Although the other options here are proteinous food, but the one with the highest amount of protein is option E, beans. So please take notes. Thank you and God bless you. And just subscribe to the channel for more videos in past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 44. The objective of first aid include the following except to: A. Treat the victim, B. Stop bleeding, C. Relieve pain, D. Prevent shock, and E. Prevent further injury. Now, as a first aider, your primary objective is to ensure that you prevent the condition of the individual from becoming worse. Now, it is not expected that you carry out the total treatment for for the victim, and so therefore, treating the victim is not the objective of first aid. The main primary things of the first aid is just to like I said, is to reduce and prevent the condition from becoming worse, and that involves stopping bleeding, because once you stop bleeding, you enable the person to prevent shock, because if bleeding continues, there will be decreased amount of blood in the body, and decreased amount of blood in the body will lead to decreased blood supply to the brain, and decreased blood supply to the brain will lead to a deficiency in oxygen in the brain, and this will lead to shock. So by stopping bleeding, you are also preventing shock, and also relieving pain is also part of the objectives of a first aid, and then preventing further injuries. But treatment or treating the victim is a function of a professional. Is a function of a professional, that is a health personnel, be it a doctor or a nurse. So the treating of the victim is not a function of a first aider. So the objective of first aider includes stopping bleeding, relieving pain, preventing shock, and prevents further injury. It's expected that you prevent the condition from becoming worse. So the answer to this question is treat the victim. It is not the objective of a first aid. Thank you and God bless you, and just subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 45. As a first aider, a case that deserves urgent attention is: A. Treating the victim, B. Stoppage of breathing, C. Shock, D. Fracture, and E. Bleeding. Now, as a first aider, when you are faced with several cases, maybe during an accident, some of the victims there have stopped breathing, some are under shock, some has fracture, and some are bleeding. Now, the case that requires the most urgent attention is bleeding. The primary thing that the first aider should do is to stop the bleeding. Stop bleeding first, because the blood, as you know, is a substance of life in the body. Now, when bleeding continues and much blood is lost, it will result into shock, and progressively result in stoppage of bleeding and then of breathing and then death. So the primary thing to do, or the first thing to do, is to stop bleeding. Now, treating of the victim already it's not the function of a first aider. Treating of the victim is a function of what? Of a professional health personnel, that is a doctor or a nurse. Now, stoppage of bleeding can be done after bleeding has been stopped by what? By pulmonary resuscitation. Pulmonary resuscitation can be done to revive the person that has stopped breathing. Now, shock also can be done or can be attended to after bleeding is stopped, and those with fracture can also be attended to after bleeding is stopped. So the first thing or the first case that should be attended to is bleeding. So bleeding must be stopped by application of pressure. So that is the case that deserves urgent attention as a first aider. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 46. Tourniquet is placed above a site of snake bite to A. Stop blood from circulation, B. Stop flow of contaminated blood towards the heart, C. Remove venom from circulation, D. Relieve the victims of pain, and E. Prevent the venom from circulation. Now, tourniquet is what we locally use, like the clothes we locally use now, to tie a place above a site of snake bite. That's what referred to as tourniquet. But normally, this tourniquet is an instrument used in the hospitals. Now, tourniquet is usually placed above a site of snake bite. Like we know, the heart is the pumping machine of the body. Now, every blood that is pumped from the heart to several parts of the body will also return back to the heart. Now, when a snake bite occur in a particular part of the body, now the blood are in this particular area becomes contaminated with the venom. The blood around this area becomes contaminated with venom. So it is important that the place above this place of snake bites is tied, or tourniquet is applied to this place in order to prevent this contaminated blood from circulating back or moving back to the heart. Now, this is because if this contaminated blood gets back to the heart, it will result in It will result in shock, and this shock can lead to death. So that is the main reason why tourniquet is placed above a site of snake bite, because the venom already will be circulated. There is no way you can prevent this venom from circulating around the blood there. The venom will definitely be circulated around the blood, but it is now important to prevent this blood from going back to the heart, and that is why the tourniquet is applied above the site of snake bite, so that during the venous return, that is when the blood is going back to the heart, this particular contaminated blood will not get to the heart, and thereby preventing shock, which can lead to death. So the correct answer to this question is option B. Stop flow of contaminated blood towards the heart. And that is the answer to this question. It is not possible to prevent the venom from circulation. The venom will be circulated, but it is possible to prevent the contaminated blood from getting to the heart. And so that is the answer to the question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 47. Any substance that speeds up the activity of the nervous system is A or an A. Stimulants, B. Hallucinogen, C. Depressants, D. Barbiturate, and E. Analgesic. So we asked for the term used to describe a substance that speeds up the activity of the nervous system. That is the nervous system. Now that's that system that controls all electrical activities occurring in the body, including our thinking and reasoning. Now option E, yes, is stimulants. Now stimulants are drugs that increases, or you can say they speed up the activities of the central nervous system. Now option B, yes, is hallucinogen. Now hallucinogen are drugs that induces hallucination. Option C here says depressants. Now depressants are drugs that decreases the activities of the body. In other words, you can say depressants are drugs that decrease what the activities of the nervous system. Now the barbiturate now here is a type of depressant. A type of depressant. So since barbiturate is a type of depressant, then can we say that barbiturate also what decrease the activity of the nervous system. Now option E here says analgesic. Now analgesics are those drugs that are given to patients in order to reduce pain or to prevent them from feeling pain. So those are the analgesics. Now from the question says substance that speed up the activity of the nervous system. And like I have described, I said stimulants are drugs that increases or speed up the activities of the central nervous system. So they speed up the activities of the nervous system. And so therefore stimulant is the correct answer to this question, which is option A. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 48. Nicotine found in cigarettes is A or an A stimulant, B sedative, C hallucinogen, D depressant, and E analgesic. Now nicotine is a common substance or common component of cigarettes. Now it is observed that when the smokers take this cigarette or after the consumption of this cigarette, they normally feel hyperactive. They are normally hyperactive and do things that they are not able to do normally. Now, it is traced that this nicotine found in cigarettes acts as a stimulant, and so therefore it increases and speed up. You can say it increases or speed up activities of the nervous system. Activities of the nervous system. So therefore the nicotine found in cigarettes is a stimulant. Now if you look at this option B here saying sedative, sedative is a depressant. You see sedative and hallucinogen, they work in the same way. That is, sedatives and depressants decreases the activity of the nervous system. They decreases the activity of the nervous system. They shut down arousal and alertness nervous system. Now hallucinogen are simply drugs that causes hallucination. These drugs are responsible for hallucination, making you to feel things that are not actually around you. Then option E here, which is analgesic, these are drugs given to patients in order to relieve pain, like drugs that are given during surgical operations. Those are the analgesics. So the nicotine found in cigarettes is a stimulant. That is option A, because it increases and stimulates activities going on in the nervous system. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 49. A vector is described as A resistant vertebrate pathogenic host, B non-vertebrate pathogen, C large collection of pathogen, D disease-causing insect, and E disease-causing agent. Now, from this option, we have to pick an answer that is best described as a vector. Now, vectors, according to option A, are resistant vertebrate pathogenic host. Now, this option would have been correct if this vertebrate here was to be invertebrate, because it is known that vectors are invertebrate. They do not possess backbone, so making this answer invalid. Option B says they are non-vertebrate pathogens. Now, vectors are not pathogens. Vector simply refers to disease carrying organism. In other words, vectors are organisms that carries what disease-causing organisms. That is, vectors are the carrier of these pathogens. They are the carrier of what? Of pathogens. These pathogens that causes disease are actually carried by what? These disease vectors. So vectors are not what pathogens. They are carrier of these what pathogens. They are pathogen carriers. So making this option what? Invalid. Now C says large collection of pathogens. Like I said, vectors are not pathogens. There's a difference between what? Pathogens and vector. Pathogens are the disease causing organisms, while vectors are what? These pathogen carriers. So they are disease carrying organisms. Now this is disease causing insects. Now like we know, vectors are what? Are insects that what carry disease causing organisms. So therefore we can say that what? Vectors are disease causing insects, because these pathogens carried by these insects or these vectors causes this disease. So we can refer to them as what? Disease causing insects. Take for instance the housefly. The housefly is a vector that causes what? Cholera or dysentery. Now the main cause of this cholera or dysentery now is a pathogen, but it is being carried by what? By this housefly. So we can therefore say housefly is a disease causing insect. So making this option what? Valid. Now E here says the disease causing agents. Disease causing agents are generally referred to as what? Pathogens. So now the most suitable answer to this question is option D, which is disease causing insects. Thank you and God bless you. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education past question 50. Disease transmission through food may occur by the following means except A. Sharing of utensils, B. Perching by flies, C. Infected meats, D. Contaminated water, and E. Contaminated fingers. Now, disease transmission through food actually occur by either disease vectors or by what? Opening our foods. Now, by disease vector, you can know that houseflies are vectors of diseases. So it can what? Be transmitted through perching by flies when the food is left open, by infected meats. Now this infected means simply means when you buy a meat that has been infected and this meat is not properly cooked, disease can be transmitted through this. Now contaminated water also is a means of transmitting disease, and also contaminated fingers, since we eat most of our meals with our fingers or our bare hands. Dirty fingers or contaminated fingers can also transmit what? Food disease. Now sharing of utensils is not actually a way of transmitting disease through food, because when utensils have been shared, it's ensure that what? They are being sterilized by washing them properly with soap and water before they are used. So this is not a means of what? Transmitting disease, and so therefore we can say what? This is the answer to this question, because the question is asking us for what? That is not a means of transmission of disease through food. So option A is the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Past question 51. The causative organism of leprosy is A. Virus, B. Schistoma, C. Salmonella, D. Plasmodium, and E. Mycobacterium. Now, leprosy, like we know, is caused by bacteria. A bacteria causes what? Leprosy. Now, before you can either ascertain the causes and causative organism of a disease, you should know the class of pathogens that causes that particular disease. Then it will be possible for you to remember the particular causative organism. Now, it is known that leprosy is caused by bacteria. Then the causative organism of leprosy is what we call the Mycobacterium leprae. Now this is the causative organism for what? Of leprosy, Mycobacterium leprae. Virus here do not cause leprosy. Virus causes disease like HIV/AIDS, like influenza. Your common cold is caused by virus. Influenza is caused by virus. HIV. Now schistoma here is not a correct spelling of this microorganism. The microorganism is known as schistosoma. I know they put this there to convince most students. It's called schistosoma. Now schistosoma is a microorganism that causes schistosomiasis. They can also refer to it as biliary worm. So it causes schistosomiasis. Now salmonella also is not the correct spelling or correct way of what writing this microorganism, it is known as what? Salmonella. Now, salmonella is a what? Is a bacteria that causes what? That causes typhoid. That salmonella what? Typhi. It causes typhoid. Now, plasmodium is a protozoa. It's a protozoa, and plasmodium causes what? Malaria. Then option E says what? Microbacterium. Now, microbacterium is the what? Is the causative organism of what? Of leprosy. Microbacterium leprae, thereby making E what? Valid and the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. Good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 52. Which of the following is not an insect vector? A. Sesafly, B. Mosquito, C. Housefly, D. Butterfly, and E. Blackfly. Now, insect vector simply refers to what? Insects or organisms that are carriers of disease-causing organisms. Now, Sesafly here is a what? Is an insect vector because Sesafly causes what? Trypanosomiasis. Trypanosomiasis. What you call what? The sleeping sickness. Mosquito is also what? An insect vector that causes what? Malaria. Housefly is an insect vector that causes what? That causes dysentery or cholera. Now, blackfly here is an insect vector that causes what? River blindness. Now, butterfly here is not what? An insect vector. Butterfly is not an insect vector because it does not cause what? Any disease. So, butterfly is the correct answer to this question. It is not an what? Insect vector. Thank you and God bless you. And just subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 53. Alzheimer's disease is a good example of which disease? A. Sexually transmitted disease, B. Infectious disease, C. Degenerative disease, D. Congenital, and E. Communicable. Now, Alzheimer's disease. I will briefly describe what Alzheimer's disease is. Now, Alzheimer's disease is a progressive disease that destroys memory and other important function. So refer to it as a progressive. It's progressive. That is, it gets worse with time. It's a progressive disease. Progressive disease that destroys. It destroys memory and other important mental function and other important mental function. Now, brain cells and the cells connected to the brains are degenerate and then die. So in Alzheimer's disease, the brain cells and other cells connected to the brain degenerates. They degenerate and die, thereby leading to impairments in the mental function. That is, the impairments in the function of the brain. Now the question says Alzheimer's disease is a good example of, and like I have described, Alzheimer's disease is a degenerative disease because it causes degeneration of brain cells, thereby leading to loss of memory and important mental function. Sexually transmitted disease here, which is option A, are diseases that are transmitted through blood, that is through sexual intercourse. But Alzheimer's disease is not transmitted through this means. Alzheimer's disease likewise is not infectious, that is it is not communicable, and also it is not congenital, that is it is not through birth. But Alzheimer's disease is a degenerative disease because it leads to degeneration of the brain cells. So therefore, making this option valid. So Alzheimer's disease is a good example of a degenerative disease. Degenerative disease simply means a disease that causes degeneration of a particular part of the body, and Alzheimer's disease is a degenerative disease of the brain because it causes degeneration of the brain cells, thereby leading to impaired mental function. Thank you and God bless you. And just subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering why Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 54. Where does implantation occur after fertilization? A. Vagina, B. Uterus, C. Placenta, D. Fallopian tube, and E. Cervix. Now, during copulation, that is during sexual intercourse, which occurs in the vagina of the female. Now, the male releases the sperm into this vagina. Now, the sperm will travel through this vagina and then through the cervix. From the vagina, it will travel through the cervix, present in the distal parts or in the downward parts of the uterus. Now, when this sperm passes through the cervix, from the cervix it then passes through the uterus, which we refer to as the womb. It goes through the uterus and then goes into the fallopian tube. Now, in the fallopian tube, that is where fertilization occur. So you can see fertilization occur in the fallopian tube. While copulation, that is sexual intercourse, occurs in the vagina. Now, from this fallopian tube, once the egg present in the fallopian tube, remember the egg now of the female is released by the ovary. Now let me represent it diagrammatically. Let's take, for instance, this is the ovary here. Then you have your fallopian tube like this. Then you have something like this. You have another fallopian tube like this. Then you have something like this. Now, this is the uterus here. This is the uterus. This is the fallopian tube. And let's assume this is the ovary. Now, the egg will be released from this ovary into the fallopian tube. Now, when the sperm travels through the vagina and the cervix and through the uterus to this fallopian tube, it goes to fertilize the egg here. Now, once this egg becomes fertilized, it becomes a zygote. Now, this zygote will then move from this fallopian tube into the uterus to get implanted to the wall of the uterus. And the main purpose of implantation is for nourishment of this zygote. So it gets implanted in the uterus. So the answer to this question is option B, uterus. Implantation occurs in the uterus after fertilization, whereby fertilization occurs in this fallopian tube. So implantation occurs in the uterus. So uterus is the correct answer to this question. Another name for the uterus is the womb. Thank you and God bless you. And subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I will be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 55. Which of the following is not part of the male sex cell? Now, when you hear the word male sex cell, it simply refers to the male germ cell. Germ cell is also not referred to as the sex cell. Now, the male sex cell or the male germ cell is the sperm. The sperm or the spermatozoa is the male germ cell, that is the matured male sex cell. Now let me give us a diagram or a brief diagram of this sperm. Now please don't mind my diagram, it's not perfect though, but I'm just trying to illustrate something. Then we have the tail. Now this is the head of the sperm. This head usually has a lipoprotein sheet. Now here is what we call the acrosome, that contains enzyme that enables it to penetrate the walls of the ovum, that is the egg. Now here contains the nucleus. This is the nucleus of this sperm cell. Now here contains the mitochondria that provides energy for this sex cell. Now also here you'll find the axial filaments. The axial filaments, which are situated over the centrioles, and this is the flagellum. the flagellum that enables it to swim of movements. Now, if you look at this now, you notice that what the tail, yes, this flagellum is also known as a tail. You can call it the tail of the of this sperm cell. You notice that the sperm cell contains the tail, which is the flagellum, the nucleus, like I described, like what contains the genetic materials, the axial filaments, and the acrosome. But this Graafian follicle here is not part of the of the sperm cell. The Graafian follicle is part of the female sex cell. You find it in the female sex cell, which is known as the ovum. The female sex cell is the ovum. That's the egg. So the Graafian follicle is like the outer covering or the outer shell of this female sex cell. So the Graafian follicle is not part of the male sex cell, thereby making it the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 56. The term congenital is best described as A. Stillbirth, B. Preterm baby, C. Health condition observable at 1 year, D. Health condition observable at birth, and E. Disease of infants. Now, the term congenital in terms of health, that's in medical practice, the term congenital simply refers to any disease or health condition. Any disease or health condition that is traceable from birth. Traceable from birth, that is right from birth. This disease has been known to this particular infant. So it simply refers to that congenital is best described as health condition observable at birth. Health condition observable at birth, and you can see that that is option D. Stillbirth simply means infants that die after delivery. That's what stillbirth represents. Then preterm baby are babies that are not matured before delivery. So these kind of babies are usually kept in incubators. They are kept in incubators to mature, maybe probably because their lungs have not been fully matured and might collapse when exposed to the air or atmosphere. But congenital, like I say, refers to health condition observable at birth, not observable at 1 year, because this congenital simply means that the condition or the disease is traceable right from birth, and that is option D. So this is the answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 57. Which of the following is not an emotional problem? A. Tolerance, B. Schizophrenia, C. Psychosis, D. Phobia, and E. Neurosis. I know many looking at this question, we can already ascertain our answer. But now I would like us to look at the meaning of each of these options. Although the answer is glaring already, but let us look at the meaning of these options before we pick the answer. Now, option A here says tolerance. Now, tolerance simply refers to the willingness to tolerate or to put up with people around you. Now, option B says schizophrenia. Now, schizophrenia is defined as a disorder that affects a person's ability to think. A mental disorder that affects the person's ability to think, feel, and behave. So therefore it's an emotional problem. Now option C says psychosis. Now psychosis is also a mental disorder. Psychosis is a mental disorder characterized by a disconnection from reality. Characterized by a disconnection from reality. Now option D says phobia. Phobia also is an anxiety disorder, also an emotional problem, whereby there is persistent and excessive fear of an object or situation. characterized by persistent fear, persistent fear of an object or situation. Now, option E says neurosis. Now, neurosis is a class of functional mental disorder involving chronic distress. So it's also a what? It's a class of functional mental disorder. So we can refer to it as what? Also an emotional problem, because it's a mental disorder involving what? Chronic distress. And like we know, when we hear of distress, we're referring to what? Emotional problems. So therefore, neurosis is also an emotional problem. Now looking at this, you agree with me that what? Option A here, tolerance, is not an emotional problem, because one, it does not deal with what? With the mental state or mental health of an individual, unlike schizophrenia, psychosis, phobia, and neurosis that deals with what? With the mental or stability of an individual. So therefore, making option A the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. And subscribe to our channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 58. Personality defense mechanism include the following except A. Suppression, B. Repression, C. Regression, D. Denial, and E. Compensation. Now, we're asked to pick an option which is not a mechanism of personality defense. Now, personality defense mechanisms are just simple mechanisms that are used to defend one's personality. That is, you defend yourself. Let's look at option A, suppression. Now, suppression here is not what? A personality defense mechanism. Suppression is not a personality defense mechanism, because the word suppression simply means what? You are suppressing, that is, you are suppressing towards either emotional anxiety, or you are suppressing towards to force or pressure. And so therefore it is not a defense mechanism. Suppression is not a defense mechanism. Now option B here says what? Repression. Now repression simply refers to what? Instead of facing your anxiety or facing challenges, one might unconsciously choose to hide them in hopes of forgetting them entirely. That is what? Repression. Now in repression, instead of facing the challenge or facing painful memories, now one simply do what? One simply unconsciously choose to hide them. You choose to hide all these painful experiences or memories, hoping that you can probably forget them for life. But that doesn't mean that the person might actually forget them, but at that moment the person is trying to defend his personality by trying to forget these painful memories. Now option C says what? Regression. Now in terms of regression, now one try to escape unconsciously from problems or painful experiences by regressing. That is, by unconsciously reducing or moving back to one's earlier stage of development. Take for instance a child. Now when a child is faced with challenges, the child might regress, that is, go back to an early stage and start bedwetting or sucking the thumb. Now that's regression. Even adults also regress. Adults regress. They can regress into smoking, into drinking of alcohol, overeating a particular food that gives them comfort, just in order to defend them their personality, or to defend themselves against some challenges. Now denial is one of the most common defense mechanism, where one would refuse to accept reality or facts. You refuse to accept reality or facts. That's denial. Then compensation is also a defense mechanism. Now it refers to a type of defense mechanism in which people overachieve in one area to compensate the other area where they failed. That is, they perform excellently well, they overachieve in a particular area. Now this is done just to compensate for the other area that they failed. So they compensate for other failures in another area, that's compensation. So now from this brief explanation, you see that what repression, regression, denial, and compensation are all personality defense mechanisms. But suppression is not a personality defense mechanism, because suppression simply means that what one succumb to such what anxiety or challenge, that is, one give up to such challenge, and so therefore it is not a personality defense mechanism. Thank you and God bless you. And subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Hello, good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 59. Which of these is not an objective of consumer education? 2. A. Seek formal redress for complaints. B. Reduce dishonest claim by producers. C. Punish erring manufacturers. D. Provide accurate information to the public. And E. Be able to make better choices. Now, consumer education can simply be defined as the enlightenment of consumers about their rights and certain information about goods and services they consume. Now, consumer education has what objectives. Now, these objectives include to seek formal redress for complaints, which is correct; to reduce dishonest claim by producers, which is correct; to provide accurate information to the public, yes, pertaining any goods or service, correct; and to be able to make better choice, that is, choice of what product, choice of goods and services, which is correct. But now, it is not the objective of the consumer education to punish erring manufacturers. Punishment of erring manufacturers is not part of the objective of what consumer education, because consumer education deals with deals totally with what the consumers. It deals totally with the consumers. It has nothing to do with the manufacturers, because now when the consumers are enlightened, or when the ignorance is being lifted away, it is possible for these consumers to make better choices. Now, by them making better choices, it reduces dishonest claim by producers. Since the consumers are now enlightened about the products, now the producers can now make honest claims about their products. But punishing of erring manufacturers now is not under the scope of consumer education, because that is not what they are concerned. So therefore, that is the answer to this question. It is not an objective of consumer education. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Thank you and God bless you. And subscribe to the channel for more videos and past questions. Good day and welcome. I'll be answering Neco 2020 Health Education Past Question 60. Quack practices in Nigeria include the following, except A. Medical, B. Mechanical devices, C. Industrial, D. Electrical gadgets, and E. Drugs and cosmetics. Now, quack practices simply refers to fraudulent practices. In other words, you can call them fake practices. Now, in Nigeria, there are a lot of fake practices in the medical sector, likewise in the industrial sector, even in electrical gadgets and drugs and cosmetics. Now, this is because all these sectors are very, very powerful. That is, they are very, very susceptible to fraudulent practices. Take for instance the medical practice. Now, there are some hospitals or some clinics whereby fake medical practitioners are, and these medical practitioners now carry out fake medical activities. So all these fraudulent activities are referred to as quack practices, and is found in the medical sector. Also in the industries, take for instance the textile industries, or industries that produces materials that we use at home. You notice that most of these industries are fake industries. The original industry will be there, and also we have the duplicate, which is the fake industry. So in industries we also have quack practices. Now in electrical gadgets also, there are several fake electrical gadgets. Let's take for instance our phones, that is the mobile phone. You observe as we have fake mobile phones and the original mobile phones. So these are quack practices. Also in drugs and cosmetics is also a large a large part of what where quack practices can be found, most especially drugs. You will find what fake drugs here and there, even the cosmetics, the creams that we use, you find what fake here and there. But now looking at mechanical devices like cars, automobiles, you observe that what quack practices are not found in what in this mechanical device, because this mechanical device are what deals with motion and are actually what tested at the spot. And so quack practices is what is very limited in this kind of what in this kind of sector. And so therefore making mechanical devices the correct answer to this question, because quack practices is not usually found in these parts. Thank you and God bless you. Ensure to subscribe to the channel for more videos in past questions.